The wind screamed through the shattered remains of an abandoned European village, carrying with it the metallic scent of gunfire and smoke. Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen adjusted the scope on her suppressed M110 sniper rifle, her breathing steady despite the chaos echoing in the distance. She was alone, perched atop what used to be a church tower, now a cracked skeleton of stone and steel. Below her, a NATO convoy had been ambushed an hour earlier. The wreckage of 2 armored vehicles still smoldered on the road. Kara's mission was clear: hold the perimeter until Colonel John Glenn's rescue team could extract the survivors. What no one knew, not even command, was that an elite enemy sniper had already found her range. For years, Kara had been the SEALs' silent guardian, their deadliest marksman hidden behind classified files and rumors whispered across bases. Her name was seldom spoken aloud, even among allies, because missions involving her never officially existed. She had operated from the Arctic to the deserts of the Middle East, always from the shadows, never missing her mark. Today was supposed to be a simple Overwatch assignment. Yet, as she watched through her scope, something in the distance shifted. The faint glint of glass, far too precise to be random. Her earpiece crackled to life. "Lieutenant Hultgreen status?" came Colonel Eileen Collins's calm voice, her tone clipped but steady, the kind of voice Kara trusted in the storm. "Still no visual on the sniper," Kara replied, her tone low. "But he's here, watching." "British intel confirms a rogue unit in your sector," Collins warned. "Their leader is a marksman. Calls himself Hawk. He's hunting our teams for sport." Kara's jaw tightened. A sniper duel. She had trained for this, but never enjoyed it. Snipers didn't fight for thrill. They fought for survival and precision. Still, something about being hunted stirred an old memory from training days with Colonel William Billy Mitchell, the way he had once told her, "The moment you think you're the predator, you've already become prey." The rain began to fall, blurring her scope. She adjusted her lens, scanning the broken forest line where the road disappeared. Through the haze, she saw movement, faint, deliberate. The enemy was positioning, and the challenge came not through gunfire, but through a taunt that cut through her comms like a blade. "Want to try?" The voice was smooth, mocking, distinctly British. It wasn't just arrogance, it was bait. He knew who she was, or at least who he thought she was. Just another American sniper caught off guard. Kara exhaled slowly, letting her pulse settle. "Copy that," she whispered to herself, fingers brushing the trigger lightly. She didn't rise to taunts. She studied wind direction, distance, reflection angles, all while knowing the enemy was doing the same. Her hands were steady, but her mind raced with calculations. If he had line of sight on her, that meant he was at least 800 meters out, probably in the ridgeline near the tree line's edge. That's where she'd be, too, if their roles were reversed. Down below, faint shouts echoed from the forest. The British snipers' team, or perhaps the remnants of an enemy squad. Either way, Kara knew time was running out. Colonel Glenn's extraction chopper was 10 minutes away, and the crash survivors were pinned without cover. One mistake here could expose them all. She had to take the shot before he did. The only problem: the sniper on the other end was equally skilled, and likely waiting for her first move to triangulate her position. Lightning flashed across the horizon, illuminating the fractured church cross beside her. Kara pressed her cheek against the rifle stock and whispered a single breath, the mantra she always used before the storm. "Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast." The war around her faded, replaced by rhythm, heartbeat, breath, trigger. Somewhere out there, hidden in the dark, another sniper whispered the same words. The duel had begun, but neither yet knew just how personal this battle was about to become. The storm grew heavier, drowning the forest in a curtain of gray. Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen steadied her rifle as wind battered the church tower, the ancient structure groaning with every gust. Her thermal scope flickered, interference from the lightning storm. But she caught glimpses of movement, ghostly silhouettes darting through the mist. The enemy was closing in. Colonel John Glenn's voice crackled faintly in her earpiece. "Extraction in 5 minutes. Hold your position, Lieutenant. We're almost there." She didn't answer. Words felt heavy now. The air was thick with tension, each second a heartbeat closer to either victory or death. Her instinct screamed that the enemy sniper, Hawk, was still out there, patient, invisible. He was toying with her, revealing just enough to lure her into taking the first shot. She had seen that tactic before, a false reflection, a decoy scope. But this one was smarter. He was moving unpredictably, changing elevations, waiting for her to break focus. Then came the sound, the unmistakable crack of a rifle round slicing the air. A bullet tore through the edge of the tower wall just inches from her head. The shot was perfect, not meant to kill but to scare. She ducked instinctively, heart pounding. He wanted her to flinch, to give away her position. Kara crawled to the opposite side, pulling her rifle close. "Nice try," she muttered under her breath. Then she switched frequencies to reach Colonel Eileen Collins. "He's got the higher ground, 800 meters north-northwest, maybe 2 shooters." "Copy," Collins replied, her tone calm but urgent. "Lieutenant, backup's 2 minutes late. Weather's grounding the first bird." "Understood," Kara said. She didn't have 2 minutes. Through her scope, she caught sight of a friendly Sergeant Davis, one of the wounded survivors, crawling toward a half-destroyed vehicle for cover. Then a muzzle flash. The second sniper fired. The round struck the ground beside Davis, close enough to send shrapnel through his leg. Kara gritted her teeth. "Not him," she whispered. She adjusted her aim, calculating the shot angle from the flashpoint. Her finger tightened on the trigger. One smooth pull, and her round ripped through the fog. Silence. Then the unmistakable thud of a body hitting the ground. One down, but the voice returned in her headset, colder this time. "Good shot. Now your turn." Her blood ran cold. He was listening. Somehow, the enemy had tapped their frequency. Hawk's voice echoed through every SEAL headset, taunting them. "Your marksman's impressive, but you can't save them all." At that moment, multiple gunshots erupted from the tree line. 3 hostiles stormed the perimeter, firing wildly toward the convoy wreckage. Kara's focus shifted instantly. She left the sniper duel behind and picked off the attackers one by one, calm, precise, every shot a heartbeat. But in that split second of distraction, Hawk moved. Her comms went silent, static. Then a thunderous explosion rocked the ground beneath her. The church tower shuddered. The enemy had targeted her position with mortar fire. Dust filled her lungs as debris rained around her. She tumbled, clutching her rifle, the world spinning in flashes of light and noise. She hit the ground hard, her vision swimming. Her scope cracked, but her weapon still held. Blood trickled down her temple. She could barely hear, but she knew. He was closing in. Over the comms, faint and broken, came Colonel Glenn's voice. "Lieutenant, do you copy?" She pressed the transmit button weakly. "Still here, sir. Evac bird inbound. 2 minutes. Hold your ground." "Copy that," she whispered, wiping the dirt from her face. She could hear footsteps now, deliberate, confident. The enemy sniper was no longer hiding. He was coming for the final shot. Kara crawled toward a new position behind a collapsed wall, her breath ragged. The rain blurred everything, turning the battlefield into a canvas of smoke and thunder. She thought of Colonel Billy Mitchell's words again. When everything falls apart, that's when precision matters most. Kara steadied her rifle on a broken beam, heart pounding. She was battered, half-deaf, and outnumbered, but still unbroken. Hawk's voice came again, closer this time, almost amused. "Still alive, are we? Guess I'll have to finish this myself?" She inhaled slowly, ignoring the pain, the ringing in her ears, the fear clawing at her chest. "Come and try," she whispered. A quiet challenge lost in the storm. And somewhere in the distance, through wind and lightning, she saw him. A shadow moving through the fog, closing in for the kill. The rain had begun to fade, though the air still carried the sharp scent of gunpowder and burning metal. Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen crouched behind the shattered remains of the wall, her pulse steadying as the storm around her calmed. Through the drifting mist, she could see him now. Hawk, the British sniper whose voice had haunted the airwaves. He moved like a ghost, rifle raised, certain of his victory. She let him come closer, her breathing slow and even. her heartbeat syncing with the rhythm she had lived by her entire career. The duel that had begun as a taunt was now a test of will, and neither was ready to blink first. Hawk stopped in the open, his silhouette framed by the faint glow of dawn. "You're good," he called, voice steady. "But this is where it ends." His crosshairs found her shadow, the faint outline of her shoulder. Kara didn't move. She watched his stance, the way his finger hovered over the trigger, too confident, too eager. Then she whispered softly, "Already ended." Her rifle barked once, sharp and final. Hawk staggered, eyes wide, his weapon falling from his grasp as he collapsed into the wet earth. The silence that followed was heavy, almost sacred. For a long moment, Kara didn't move. She kept her scope fixed, confirming the threat was gone. Only when she was certain did she lower her weapon. Around her, the battlefield was quiet. The survivors of Colonel Glenn's team emerging from cover, the extraction chopper finally roaring overhead. She signaled with a flare, though her body ached from exhaustion and her leg throbbed where debris had cut deep. The mission was complete, but something deeper lingered, a weight only soldiers understood. When the team reached her, Colonel Eileen Collins was the first to speak. "You held your ground," she said, her voice filled with quiet respect. Kara gave a small nod, eyes still scanning the ridge. "He was good," she replied softly. "Too good to be on the wrong side." Collins looked at her for a moment before answering, "And you were better. You always were." The chopper lifted off minutes later, the forest below fading beneath the mist. Through the window, Kara looked down at the village, the collapsed tower, the scorched road, the traces of battle that would vanish in the next rain. She thought of the soldiers who hadn't made it, of Sergeant Davis who now sat bandaged beside her, staring in silence. There was victory in survival, but also a quiet sorrow that came with it, the kind that never truly left. Back at the base, reports would mark the mission as a success. Enemy unit neutralized. All hostiles down. No one would write about the duel in the storm or the taunt that started it all. Kara's name would be redacted, replaced with a code number buried in the SEAL archives. Only those who were there would know that one sniper, outnumbered and cornered, had saved them all. Weeks later, in a secure room deep within command headquarters, Colonel John Glenn reviewed the mission log. "Hultgreen," he murmured, reading the after-action report. "Still undefeated." Colonel Buzz Aldrin, standing beside him, smiled faintly. "Some legends don't need medals," he said. "They just need witnesses." As night fell over the base, Kara sat alone on the firing range, cleaning her rifle in silence. The storm had long passed, but its memory lingered. The smell of rain, the echo of that voice, the calm before the final shot. She knew there would be more missions, more shadows, more wars that demanded quiet heroes. But for now, she allowed herself one rare moment of peace. She looked up at the stars, her reflection faint in the rifle's metal, and whispered the words that had carried her through every battle. "For those who can't return, we aim true." Then she closed her eyes, the faint sound of the wind whispering through the field, carrying her promise into the night, a legacy of silence, precision and courage that no record would ever erase.